square. Cat, much smaller animal, remember, 14 centimeters square, and actually as an adult human would have 4 centimeters square. But if you translate that, allowing for size, into the receptor numbers, whoa, German Shepherd 220 million, cat 60 million, we've only got 6 million. And it probably therefore won't surprise you when I tell you that in fact this allows the German Shepherd to have 1,000-fold at least more sensitivity to smells than us. And also the cat's pretty good, but is nothing like as good as the dog. Just like the touch system, although it's a lot more complicated, and I don't intend to go into detail on this, odours are also spatially mapped in the part of the brain which is specifically receiving smell signals. So all the different, you don't have to look at these are different chemical groups, that's all. All you need to look at is the colours, and you can see that they're all spatially distinct from one another and represented at the level of this olfactory structure. And this just shows in a mouse brain using optical imaging the different responses to 4 different odours, a red-coloured one, the actual, this is the dyes rather than what the odours are, green and blue. And you can see they're beautifully bilaterally expressed in a very discrete spatial part of the olfactory system. But it's also a very strong emotional sense in that it has the information is very quickly routed to the parts of the brain that deal with emotion in the amygdala, and also attention and action here. And they're also parts of the brain dealing with memory. And I'm sure we all know that it's pretty difficult to smell something without feeling a corresponding feeling of some either pleasure or disgust. And that's exactly what it must be like for other species. It's almost impossible not to respond to a particular smell with some emotional reaction. But probably what you know less about is that it's a very, very good system for remembering things. You remember smells far better probably than any other sense, and probably the animals do as well. And just to give you an example of that in humans, if you learn something in a room and there's actually a background smell in it, say lemon for example, it has nothing to do with the task you're doing, but if I gave you lemon later on, it's likely to trigger all of the memory for the event that you were doing completely separate to it. It seems to have a phenomenal ability, smell, to trigger or to both memories as well as emotions. And that is, of course, in a sense, what is the root of aromatherapy, which I won't go into it, but lots of these different smells, of course, can have very emotive or memorable or stress-relieving even effects.